We have our 11 o'clock submitter here, which is the Quail Island Ecological Restoration Trust. So, Ian McLennan, would you like to come forward now? Thank you. And then we'll have a break.
Good morning, thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm Ian McLennan, I'm the chairman of the Otamahua Quail Island Ecological Restoration Trust. Just following on from the two ladies supporting the Waltham Playground, it is a special suburb. We had the privilege of having a class of children from Waltham School over on the island last year, and absolutely inspirational teacher. It's just wonderful to see the quality of some of these teachers in the lower decile schools. And it was a real eye-opener for me in that we have a school less than 10 kilometres away from Littleton. A lot of these kids had never been to Littleton before, never been through the tunnel, and hadn't been on a boat before. So just seeing a facility like Quail Island being accessible to children like that, it's just wonderful. And our trust will be continuing in the future to emphasise the education aspects of the island. As those trees start to grow, people see it and more people come. So 2018 is quite a special year for the trust. It's 20 years since we started planting on the island and eradicating the pests. So you will have all heard about Predator Free 2050. Well, we've been predator free since 2006. So we've got rid of all the mammalian pests, all the animals which will eat the insects and the birds' eggs. And it's, there's islands like Tirutiri, Matangi and Auckland get a lot of publicity about being predator free, but we'd like to raise the profile that we've got an equivalent in Littleton Harbour. So we're very successful and very, very proud of what we've achieved. And I'd like to quote Dr. David Bergen, who came to the island on behalf of Trees That Count to audit some planting that we had done for them. And he said that this would be one of the best native forestry restoration programs I've visited in terms of weed control, post-planting maintenance, with well-organised community input and realistic expectations. So one of the problems we have with that success is that a lot of the funding out there is for pest eradication and weed eradication. So we've already been through that process, so trying to get funding to maintain the pest-free status of the island is a bit of a battle for us. So we have an MOU with the Christchurch City Council, which is a fantastic thing to have because it gives us a guaranteed $8,000 grant every year, and the LTP process is the mechanism for coming to the council to get that amount revised if possible. So the benefits of a pest-free island, it means that we've got birds self-colonising and an increased biodiversity of insects and lizards. One of the important birds we have is the white-flippered penguin. These birds are endemic to Banks Peninsula, and there's fewer than 4,000 left in the wild. And our colony, because of pest eradication, has grown from 0 to a peak of 41 nests in 2007. So 41 nests is the equivalent to around 160 birds. And on Quail Island, they're safe from pests. They're also safe from dogs, and they're safe from cars. And we also have some nationally endangered plants growing on the island, notably Cook's scurvy grass. So as I said, Tirutiri Matangi is cited as an example of what Quail Island could become, and it's one of Auckland's top tourist attractions, and potentially Quail Island in the future could become a draw card bringing people both to Littleton and to Christchurch. It's a long-term process. We're only 20 years into it, but it's going to be probably 200 years before the forest reaches a facsimile of what was there originally. Now, as noted in our submission, we're in rather an odd position in that we're operating on public land, on a dock recreation reserve, but we are doing work that dock would otherwise not be doing. So we think this project is a big asset to Christchurch, and we hope that the City Council will continue to support us. Thank you.
Thank you. Which penguin were you talking about? Because it's not in your submission.
It's the white flippant penguin.
So are you breeding them on the island?
No, they are naturally occurring, and because we are providing the predator-free island, they have come back.
And what percentage of that 4,000 population would be based at Quail Island?
We peaked in 2007 with around 160 birds.
Oh, okay.
But the numbers have been slowly decreasing since then, as they have been all over the peninsula.
Okay. Yanni.
Thank you, and thank you for the wonderful work that you're doing. I just noted that DOC wasn't really mentioned too much in your submission, and just wondered if you talk about that a little bit, because they don't give you any funding. Obviously there's been a change of government and probably an increase to their budget.
Yes.
That may be eligible to you, but can you just talk us through how that relationship works a little bit?
Well, we also have an MOU with the Department of Conservation. So anything we do on the island needs permission from DOC. They maintain the tracks, maintain the sewage system, and they give us use of a quad bike and a tractor. But apart from that, we don't get any support from DOC. If there was a pest invasion from the mainland, I'm sure they would give us support to help eradicate the pests. But in terms of the planting and maintaining the pest eradication, we do all that ourselves.
Vicky.
Thank you very much for your submission. I found it fascinating, and I just wondered if there was anything else. I've been writing it up on Facebook while you've been telling. I just wondered if there was anything else you wanted to share about Quail Island, so we could do a complete advert for it.
Oh, okay. The history side of the island, most people may know that it was used as a quarantine island for animals in the early years, and then it became a leper colony in the early part of the 20th century. Shackleton Scott also used Quail Island as a quarantine island for their ponies and mules and dogs that they took to the South Pole. So it does have a lot of historical connections to the Antarctic explorers and the leper colony and quarantine. So it was initially set up as a quarantine station for the sailing ships coming from the Northern Hemisphere. So when a ship came into the harbour, if there was disease on board, they would run up the yellow flag. A doctor from Lyttelton would come out and decide which part of Lyttelton Harbour they would go for quarantine. And after the First World War, it was quarantine for the Spanish flu and quarantine for any infectious diseases in Christchurch. Yes, there are shipwrecks. We call it the ship's graveyard. It's when an old sailing ship had reached the end of its useful life, they would scuttle it out of sight around the back of Lyttelton, around the back of Quail Island. Yes.
I've sent Vicky a link to the white flippant penguin, which is hey? No. It's regarded as the only where is it? It's considered to be the one and only Indigenous creature unique to Canterbury, New Zealand. I mean, that's extraordinary. I didn't know that. So, yeah.
There were some photographs attached to our submission.
Yeah, yeah.
There is a photograph of
Yeah.
one of the chicks in a burrow
Yeah.
during a count last year.
But I didn't recognise the name because you used the Māori name, and I wasn't familiar with it. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Korova. Look, thank you so much for your submission, and I love Quail Island. I used to go out to it quite a lot we used to go out there on, it was a public holiday, I can't remember, once a year a whole group of us used to go out there for a picnic on one of those public holidays, so it's just a fantastic location.
And the usual response we get from visitors to the island is, I haven't been here since I was at school.
Yeah.
It has changed dramatically from a rabbit-infested dust bowl to it's coming there with the native forest emerging.
I think you've encouraged a few of us to come out and have another look, so
Thank
you very much.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, so our next submission is time for 11:10, so that's